Hey, how you doing? This is Pastor Jake of the Kingston NY Church. This is an Exodus devotional. It's not a sermon devotional. We're going to continue our sermon devotionals next week. But for this week, we're looking at Exodus, just taking some devotionals out of the book of Exodus. We left off with Exodus 1, and as we read through, Moses is born, and God spares him through a series of circumstances, and then eventually talks to him through a burning bush. And his command to Moses is to set the people of Israel free, to go to the Pharaoh and proclaim on the behalf of God that they are to be set free. And God's doing this because he hears the cries of Israel and he remembers his covenant. So he wants to use Moses as the instrument to which to do this. And it's a powerful set of scriptures here. But Moses, in verse 11 of chapter 3, says this. He says, "Who am I that I should go to the Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt?" See, he was terrified to even go to Israel and proclaim this. And then to top it off, I've got to go to then the Pharaoh and do this. This is so far above me. You've got the wrong guy. And he gives a series, there's all these excuses as to why he's not the person to do this. And I think that we can relate a lot to Moses. That there are times in our walk with God that he is calling us to do something. And we respond just like Moses. Who am I to do this, God? You've got the wrong person. You've got the wrong girl. You've got the wrong guy. You've got the wrong person, God. I can't speak eloquently. I don't have the education. I don't have the experience. There's a lot of what if things happening in my head that I just don't feel that I can live up to. I can't carry this out and I don't want to let you down. So just please get somebody else to do it. What Moses is doing and what we're doing when we're like that is we are listening to the call of God and then looking to us to fulfill that. We're looking to our abilities and our capabilities and our, or lack thereof, to be able to fulfill that. When we grow in fear, we become paralyzed in fear and we disobey as a result with a bunch of excuses as to why we didn't do it. But we see that God does not listen to excuses. We see this throughout the Bible. We certainly see it here. He just blows Moses off. And really, he doesn't just blow him off. He continues to remind Moses that he is the Lord, that he is Yahweh, that he is I am, and that he has this promise. So he continues to point to his promise and to point to who he is. And he continues to also say that he's going to be with him. I'm not sending you out to do this to report back to me how you did. I'm using you. I'm working through you, right? This is what he says in chapter 4 of verse 12. He says, "Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall speak." And later in verse 15 he tells, "I'm going to teach you what to speak and what to do." Right? That he is with us. And so when we're called to do something for God, we need to not look at ourselves and our inabilities. We need to look to God. It's an amazing thing that God is able to accomplish this through somebody like Moses. It isn't Moses that is great. It is God that is great. And that's the same thing with you and I. We become shameful of our brokenness and our frailties and our inabilities, but really we ought to boast, like Paul talks about, right? We ought to boast in our weaknesses because he is made great. He is made strong through our weaknesses. But we have to get our eyes off of us and put them on to God. God is saying, go do this, and then he's reminding us, I am the Lord. I know who I called. I'm going to use you. I'm going to work through you. I'm going to be with your mouth. I'm going to give you the words to speak and the actions to take. So when we're out and about and we have a calling on our heart to bear witness of the gospel to that person over there, or to share it with our neighbor, or to step into some sort of ministry, and we're riddled with fear, we need to remember this conversation between Moses and God, and how God, like in Moses, is going to, in our lives, remind us that he is the Lord, that he is with us always, and he will be with our mouth and teach us how to speak. And any of us that have stepped out, and I think we've all had times of triumph where we do step out and do something that is beyond our capability. We've witnessed this, right? We've experienced this, that where God really, we find ourselves answering and saying things that we didn't even know we were capable of answering and saying and being able to do things that just did not have in us, that there's just something supernatural is happening. And that supernaturalness is the Lord. That the Lord is with us. And he is mighty to save, and he has chosen to have this mission, to include us into his mission. So what is God speaking into you? What is your Pharaoh and your Egypt? What's the calling on your? Is there something that God is speaking into you that you just can't get your eyes off of you and bring it to the Lord? I would challenge you to do just that, to repent of that in prayer, and to then look into God, to look to God and realize that he is calling you because he is great and he is mighty. He didn't call you because you're great and you're mighty, and that should bring you a tremendous amount of comfort. God bless you. I hope you're having a blessed time. Please feel free to reach out to the Kingston Alliance Church. I'll have a link in the description on how to do that. God bless.